Government of India for meritorious contribution to social work. She received Raymond Magsaysay Award for Community Leadership in 2003. As Chairperson of National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, NCPCR, Professor Shanta Sinha addressed children affected by conflict, civil unrest, rights of children in areas affected by Naxal-related violence and ethnic conflict, such as in Chhattisgarh, Tripura, Assam, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Orissa, Maharashtra, and Jammu and Kashmir. Corporal punishment in schools, child health, right to education, established the RTE division to monitor right to education under the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009. Child labour, monitored interstate trafficking of child labour, especially between Rajasthan and Gujarat. Juvenile justice, monitored juvenile justice system in the country and recommended measures for improvement of institutional care through the Delhi High Court. Children in TV reality shows, sex-selective abortions, rights of OBC affected, HIV and AIDS infected, rights of children with disabilities, and drafted laws on protection of children against sexual abuse. Professor Sinha formulated the following policy documents. Key reforms in juvenile justice system 2008. Action plan for abolition of child labour in Delhi. Abolition of child labour and making education a reality for every child as a right. Drafted the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Bill. As Secretary Trustee, MP Foundation, she was involved in programs for elimination of child labour through universalization of elementary education in Andhra Pradesh, covering more than 6,000 villages. About 600,000 children in 5 to 14 years age have been withdrawn from child labour, and over 1,000 villages have been freed of child labour, with retention of 99% of all children in government schools. MBS pioneering work in establishing residential bridge posts for children to be prepared for mainstream formal schools is widely acknowledged. MBF also provides technical support to NGOs and the government across India. MBF also gives technical support to NGOs in Africa and Central America. Professor Shanta Sinha also served as Chairperson, Standing Committee on Women's Studies, UGC, Chairperson, National Curriculum Framework for Adult Education, Government of India, Member, Central Advisory Board on Education, Member ex officio, National Advisory Council for Education, Member, Empowered Committee for Midday Meal Scheme, Member, Expert Committee for the Prime Minister's Award for Excellence in Public Administration, Member, Advisory Committee, Child Rights Cell, Ministry of Home Affairs, Chairperson, Steering Committee on Children's Right to Education in Areas of Civil Strife, UNICEF, Member, National Integration Council. Now I would like to invite Professor Shanta Sinha to address the gathering.
Friends, I must first of all thank Gitam University for inviting me to this beautiful campus, and I just heard that there are about 8,000 students on this campus, so I think you will be the foundations for gender equality and protagonists for women, and show how universities can support gender equality. I do hope you are the exemplars for promoting gender equality. And when I say gender, it's not just a binary of man and woman. When I say gender, it is a diversity of genders that there are, which we have learned to respect and honor. The lesbians, the gay, the bisexual, the transgender, and any number of persons who were hidden, invisible. So when we are celebrating International Women's Day, I think we are celebrating not just gender equality among man and woman, which we should, but we are also celebrating the diversities that there are in human beings. And that would transform the world in a manner that you and me can never imagine, when we in fact learn to respect every human being as equal. So thank you very much, Gitam, for giving me this opportunity. I must say that I was truly Lalita Sinduri. Oh, she was so beautiful. I mean, it's been a long time since I have even looked at classical dance, and here she has even contemporized it to her students. Thank you very much. And also to Madhuri, who sang so beautifully. It's so nice to be with students who are so talented, and I'm glad that we sat through this 40 minutes without getting distracted, which speaks a lot about Verma, sir, Dr. Verma, about your own students. I know that it is so tough to keep keep students interested in what you say. It's easier to do with primary school students, but not so much with college students who have their cell phone in their hand, who are distracted, and you're the new millennial, and I always think that there's such a huge generation gap that you have not been addicted to those phones. None of you is looking at it is a marvel, I must say today. And thank you very much for not looking at your phones with great, I suppose that is the kind of respect you hold for women, for gender equality, and for International Women's Day. Thanks a lot for not looking at your phones. It must be very, very difficult. Even for me, it's difficult not to look at my phone and talk to you. Now, having said this, I must thank Prasanna, your professor in English. I must thank the women's cell here, and I'm so glad to be with Ramalakshmi, whom you will listen to, who has been working phenomenally. I will not repeat it. You will listen to what she has been about, and I think it is a great honor to be sharing the panel with her. I would like to sort of also thank your Pro-Vice Chancellor for calling me for this meeting. That is a 5-minute thank you I did for you. Now, let me come to what I thought I should talk. If you would believe, I did 8-page speech. You want me to talk to you for 8 minutes or a half-a-page speech? I won't leave it to you to choose. I will do the half-page one. This is a day to remember all in our family who fought for women's rights. You must be wondering, where are those leaders in our family? You just imagine your mother or your grandmother, your aunt or your great aunt, who has fought severely, exercised agency to be going to school. Close your eyes for a moment, men and women both in this room, and recall what they must have done to make each one of you to sit in this auditorium on these chairs. I will recall my great-grandmother. I think she was amazing. She was just 11-year-old, and she lost her husband. In a week's time, her hair had to be tonsured. This was sometime in 1920, I think. And she didn't like it. An 11-year-old girl to be condemned to be a widow all her life. She exercised agency. She decided she will not allow herself to be disrespected like that. She ran away from home and took shelter in a Christian missionary, and she grew there. Why her life is important for all of us in the family was, her younger brother was my grandfather. His name was Professor Venkatramaya. All the time he thought, in his life he will not disrespect women. In his life he will not put his sisters, his children, his wife to any suffering. To me, he was a first feminist, and because of him, his daughter did well, his grandchildren did well, I did well, and it's not just because of him as a feminist, because of that 11-year-old girl who protested. And I think in each one of our families, there are people like that. Why our family? I'm sure even in this hall, there must be some of you who fought and defied your family to be sitting here on the stage. We celebrate all of you. A clap to all of them, please. It's not just women in our family, women in our society who fought so hard. In fact, the March 8th is about those women workers in Europe, those women workers in US who formed the labor union and who fought for their wages and for better conditions of life. They found that the men were far too dominating and wouldn't let the women even breathe. The long working hours where they had to sacrifice home and come to factories and to sweatshops, I think they fought a lot for better conditions at work. We clap for them also, please. We also, I think this is very important. I just spoke to your pro-vice chancellor who was talking about her grandmother. She was also very young, maybe just 12 or 13, and she continued till she was 90, who fought for freedom of our country. It seems just the other day about, I don't know when she passed away, he didn't tell us, it could have been just 10 years back. She was 90-year-old. She fought for better price, and she was taken to the police station at her 90th year. So what can women do if they chose to? You know, and there were so many of them, she, including herself, who fought in the freedom movement. They went underground. They carried the flag. They participated in mass movements. They didn't care for not being protected. They ran on the streets. They were part of the Congress party. Sir, please come up, sir. I was just narrating your grandmother's story, and I'm sure they would love to listen to you personally about it. Yeah, so I think we will have to salute to all those women who participated in the freedom movement. It wasn't for nothing that they participated. If you look at the Constitution of India, the most radical of constitutions in the world today, you will find equal rights for men and women. Why? Why did that happen? It's not because we borrowed something from US, borrowed something from England. That is what is often told to us, that our constitution is radical because we borrowed from everywhere. Certainly not. Our constitution is radical because people fought for a constitution that was radical, which meant even women. And they were respected, they were given equal rights. Now there are 2 pages about the constitution that gives equal rights to women. I am not going to talk to you about that. Please do your Google search on the constitutional rights. You know, they can do better than I would on what the constitution is about women. That is your homework for today, for respecting Indian women, the freedom struggle, and the Constitution of India, where men and women had equal rights. I am telling you this because in Europe itself, it took them so many years to get equal rights. Women did not have a voting right. Here, as soon as we got our independence, there was adult suffrage and women got equal rights with men. They didn't have to fight because they did enough fight in the nationalist movement where they were seen as equals. And I think that we have to acknowledge and salute. So we have to be proud about our Constitution of India. But it didn't end with that. We all know the kinds of women, movements that women led. They led movements against the dowry, and therefore we got the Dowry Act. Google search on Dowry Act. We also fought a lot for protection of women in the workplace. I'm sure your university also has cash. Do you have cash? Not cash, cash. Committee Against Sexual Harassment. Every institution must have it, and every institution must have the courage to listen to girls who have been sexually abused, who need to sort of tell the staff, the committee about their abuse, and where there is a resolution of the problem. So, you know, this is also a result of the feminist movement in the country. So, there is also for children, the protection of children from sexual abuse is a huge act, which is not about sexual abuse of only girls, but even boys, you know. And I think a very radical act, which again, what should you do?
Google.
search. We are a new generation of teachers who will not tell you everything, who will tell you what you should do. And that, I think, is very, that is how it has to be. I wish our teachers also told us, go search for yourself. I am not going to tell you all this. Now, while we celebrate women who have excelled in politics, science, sports, business, professional services, arts and films, academia and so on, we must remind ourselves that most victims still have not got their rights. They are victims of gender violence and abuse. Their participation in work is invisible and accounted for. The participation of women in the workforce today is at the lowest, which means that her independence is at the lowest. Then you find that how do you resolve this gender discrimination? Here I must tell you, it's not easy. Usually you have the government giving its slogans, having beautiful posters, having Beti Bachao program, but getting freedom for women, getting mobility for women is a process of resolving conflicts. It is a power struggle. It is a struggle against entrenched values. It is a struggle against patriarchy. It seems as if it is fashionable that one talks about patriarchy and feminism, but patriarchy and feminism is not fashion. Patriarchy is a reality, and feminism is the antidote to patriarchy. So let us not shy away from the fact that when a girl says I am feminist, that she is being fashionable. That is something that has become so ordinary. At the moment, there are both men and women who claim themselves to be feminists. It's not a women's agenda alone that you are a feminist. Like I told you, my grandfather was a feminist. It is an ideology that is not man against woman. It is an ideology of those who care for gender equality and those who do not care for gender equality. So all men, all women are together in this battle to have a society that really celebrates gender equality. I hope the men here put your hands up for gender equality. Thank you. Some men have not. Thank you. Yeah. Now, here I think when we talk about gender equality, we must in fact look at the multiple problems, the multiplicity of oppression that certain women go through, which is the Dalit women, which is the Adivasis. And I think they are oppressed not just because they are women, they're also because they belong to a particular community, also because they are poor. There is these multiple forms of oppression, which makes it all the more difficult for women from these communities to unravel all their loss of dignity at every level. So we must in fact be far more sensitive to poor women, especially from those who are from excluded communities and background. I will end this with a small conclusion, and I think it is important to critique some commonsensical perspectives on women in India. And it seemingly supports women's rights. One perspective celebrating International Women's Day is to celebrate us as citizens. And then she said this is not true, that we are Lakshmi, that we are treated as gods. None of the women want to be deified as something above being a human being. Treat us as human beings, as individuals in our own rights. Don't deify us. There could be mythologies about these great goddesses. They are just to be emulated, but don't call us Durga and Lakshmi. We are not that. We are like you. Have you ever told any man that you are Brahma, you are Vishnu, you are Shiva? We've never said that, isn't it? It's as, I think, absurd as calling us Lakshmi, Saraswati or Durga. care of their homes, so we are so happy about it. They come to the office, so even more happy. They take care of children, still. They are so efficient, even better. They can take care of guests, even better. What does it all mean? They can even cook well. What does it all mean? It is saying that you do all the work. You take care of home. You manage the office. You're great. We don't want to be great. We want to be like you. If you want to be great the way you're describing, because you do all the multitasking, we'll sit on the sofa and enjoy. So let us not fall into the trap of being called multitaskers and then burden ourselves with more and more work. That is not on. The other thing is, which is even more, which is actually much more in Hindi and Telugu films of the earlier years, the amma, the ma, celebrating the mother. Don't. Mother also wants to eat ice cream. Right? Mother is not there to sacrifice everything to make everybody feel happy. Mother is also an individual. She has a name. Her name is Lalita. Her name is Menjabin. Her name is Christy. Don't treat me as a mother. Many a time people don't even know the names because the names have been lost. You know them only as mother, aunt, chitti, chitappa, whatever. So let us not do that. They are names, they are faces, they are sensuous reality. They have a life. They are going to be sacrificing all her life for you. Right now it is not mothers, it's even grandmothers who are sacrificing. There's a grandmother here and with me. Children are in America. So we are the great grandmothers who are to love our grandchildren so much that we have to do all the hard work. Washing clothes, dishwashing, cooking, taking care of children, and again repeating the whole cycle of changing baby nappies. No, don't glorify us as grandmothers also. So these are, I think, the final thing, that it is not safe for women to go out. And in fact, commenting on the dress that women wear, and because they wore that kind of dress, men are provoked to rape them, to molest them. This is simply no. We wear what we want. It is our choice. It is our body. Provoked, go somewhere and do what you want, but you have no right to come and touch me the way you are. Molest me. You have no right to do something that I feel yucky about. Don't do that. Women don't like being touched. When they don't want to be touched. This all of us know, and you don't travel by bus. We did when we were. There is no history of any woman who traveled by public transport. It must be how loss of that is cannot happen. It is my that has to be condition that there is will have to be allowed to wear what they want. In the night because it is unsafe. Why? Why can men go and why can't? Because they were walking in the night. They are only exceptions. So it is perfectly safe to rape you. They are not there like that. So we go, and the safety issue is a issue to control your mobility, to control your freedom, to put you locked in the house just so that you dominate and you're subjected to all those entrenched values of patriarchy. So these are some of the common things which I thought we will have to talk about. And we are that has produced a magnificent document of the Constitution of India, and I do hope that each one of us understands the principles of equality, liberty, secular values, social justice that is embedded.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your lovely compliments and a highly relevant message interlaced with your sense of humor. Now I would like to invite Ms. Bindu Priya to present the profile of Srimati C.S. Ramalakshmi.
It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our today's distinguished guest of honor, Srimati C.S. Ramalakshmi Garu. C.S. Ramalakshmi is the first woman officer in the Indian Forest Service from 1980 batch from Andhra Pradesh cadre. She served in the government of Andhra Pradesh for 37 years in various departments: environment, forest, science and technology, Panchayat Raj, labor and employment, higher education, agriculture and corporation, general administration in various capacities, level postings. In her post-retirement as advisor to Government of Andhra Pradesh, as advisor to women empowerment and self-employment policy and planning. She worked in the ways to bring women group and credit to empower them in social, economic and political Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. She worked on strategy self-help groups. She is instrumental in designing schemes for poverty reduction, literacy, food security, more than 50 papers on the issues of poverty, women empowerment, good governance through ICT, agriculture or sericulture, women and environment in the national and international journals. Srimati Ramalakshmi Garu has also been a part of designing and conducting training programs, creation on gender issues for women and youth. She perceives her strength in her ability to draw upon and evolve theoretical frameworks based on field surveys, collection of oral narratives to explore the linkages between communities and macro process and its policy implications. Currently, she is a guest faculty to state level and national level institutions on gender and empowerment. Thank you.
Thank you, Bindu ma'am. Let me now request Srimati C.S. Ramalakshmi Garu to deliver her address.
Very good evening, everybody. Are you prepared for another 15 minutes of torture? Distinguished personalities on the dais, my dear friend and the Pro Vice Chancellor. I don't really sometimes remember the designations, that's my weakness. I remember only Siva Prasad Garu. He is my great friend. Today it gives me an immense pleasure to come and meet him after a long gap of maybe 4 or 5 years, if I remember. There cannot be any better example other than Dr. Sivaprasad, he himself is a women protagonist more than anybody else. Give him a big hand. And another person, are you listening? Resident director, he is the director of this campus. Big responsibility, sir. And he gave 5 W's, right? Please carry these 5 women always in your heart and mind. Great quote. And my role model, my guru-like personality, Professor Santa Sinha. I was following her. I saw some of her works. I read about her. I see her, and she's a great inspiration to me. And my own friend, a very warm person, Prasanna Garu, and she invited me to this. And Tejasvi, are you Dr. Tejasvi? Oh yeah, Dr. Tejasvi, who is oh, I'm very meticulously conducting this function, and also Meena Garu, who gave me a good lunch. And after that lunch, I thought I will fall asleep. And yes, such a good lunch. And I met on the dining table the director of the business school. Very interesting person. We had a very interesting conversation and questions and answer session. And I also met an ex-military man, being a forest officer. No fortune to meet others. And you are all very fortunate to have this kind of a highly professional, qualified faculty. And I have also seen the kind of campus placements, and I'm going to have a great future. What is going to happen on the way? Will you promise? గట్టిగా చెప్పాలి. Yes. I belong to a generation, mind you, I am retired. You can guess my age. Yeah. I belong to, that's why I said my generation. And a location where the child is most of the time till she is grown and married, the parents will say for most of the things, no, not. Don't talk loudly. Don't go out. Most of the time, not. Parents, elders, the way in which you are brought up. Will you all, especially the boys, will promise me, if you have a girl child, will you remove these 2 words, no and not? గట్టిగా రావట్లేదు మాటలు, డౌట్ఫుల్గా వస్తుంది. చెప్పుదామా లేదా, కమిట్ అవుదామా లేదా, ఏదైనా లవ్కి కమిట్ International Women's Day 2020 for this. In such an environment. Decorated this hall, please. Meena. Oh, wow. Wow, Meena. I forgot to mention her name in the initial remarks, but now the time has come. I should talk about Meena. Besides giving very good food, what is the gender equality reflected in this hall? What, you are all techies, you are all management experts, there is a public policy, there is a human rights, so many things are happening, there is a dance teacher, beautiful dance, Ghana, Wagaira, Wagaira. What is the gender equality reflected in this hall? Yes, it is. Say it loudly, no? Yeah, claps. Please, give her a big hand. Besides pictures, there are also balloons, pink and blue. Oh, wow. Yeah. This is Meena's creation. Meena, wherever you are, my happy congratulations for decorating this place so beautifully. Really, I feel that the gender equality is already achieved. Though the World Economic Forum says that it will take another 100 years to achieve gender equality, does not matter. At least I am not going to be there to see that gender equality, but here I am saying that gender equality. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. ఎందుకు తప్పట్లు కొట్టారు? Yeah, I wanted to know the reason. Why are you clapping? Oh, anyway, you are clapping. 2-3 things I just wanted to be on the lighter vein. Because today is I feel today is a day to celebrate. Today is a day to laugh very happily, all of us put together, because it's in India and also all over the globe, there are some paradoxes. That's why we celebrate still this International Women's Day. Still we celebrate. Otherwise there is no need. Men and women are equal. What are those paradoxes? Our constitution is great. India has so many legislations. Can you occupy some front chairs which are vacant, those who are coming? Yeah. The paradoxes are that there is a great constitution, lot of awareness, women's education is almost now 70%. Roughly I have asked how many boys and how many girls, maybe 50-50, we have reached that level. 50-50 boys and girls in terms of strength. Students. 40.
That too because of the computer science.
Uh-huh.
We were earlier 35 to 60.
35 to 65. 35 girls, 65 boys.
Earlier.
Earlier.
Now since computer science, most of them joining in computer science, now it's getting to 40.
40. 40, 60. 40 girls and 60 boys. My dear boys and girls, listen. Another 2 or 3 years we are going to be 50-50. Please remember. I would call Dr. Shiva Prasad Garu in 2026 and ask him what is the recruitment during that year. 50-50.
This is Gitam.
Oh, Gitam is Girls Institute of Technology. What a new definition! Wow! Really wow! See, that is what did I not tell you that Shiva Prasad Gar is a women protagonist? Did I not tell you? Yes, he already renamed it and it is going to be 50-50 very soon. Okay, that is one. Coming back to the paradoxes, that is okay, that is fine. We all should clap and be happy, and there is a great reason to laugh. But when it comes to the workforce participation, I want attention of girls on this point. It is only 27%. That means girls are studying, they are feeling that their destination is marriage. After marriage, go happy, relax, be with husband, give birth to 1 or 2 children and settle as housewife. This is the problem. I just wanted to have statistics, how many engineering girl students after marriage, after childbirth are working. You know, I want these statistics. I am a researcher basically. Doctors anyway, they have to work. They don't have much choice. How many graduates, how many postgraduates, how many of them are really working? Why women do not work? Why women do not go out? Why women settle only for marriage and childbirth? This is the paradox. Women's workforce participation is very, very low, one of the lowest in India. One of the lowest. So we have to reverse this. To reverse this, I want all the girls to pledge. This is the second pledge. Boys have pledged. Okay? No and? Gettiga maatladandi. Yeah, no and not. Remember. Thank you. And now the girls have to pledge that you are going to work. You are not going to waste your education. You are going to work for 2 reasons. One is that for your own family, for you as a person, for your family, and also for the nation. Right? For our country. We all have to make contributions to our country. If all the girls are going to work in India, all the girls and women are going to work in India, in our country, Bharat, India will not be anymore a developing country. India will be a... Thank you. That is what is Gitam. Thank you so much. I like that, filling up the blanks. Thank you. Now you all got energized. Yeah, thank you so much. India will be a developed country. So our promise is that for all the young girls, that you promise yourself that you would like to see India as a developed country. For that you have to work. No compromises. And second paradox. We all celebrate Mahashivaratri, right? Very recently, we celebrate Mahashivaratri. And what is Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva is a form of a man and a woman. Shiva and Parvati, 50-50. Lord Shiva told us that, I am an icon of gender equality. Both men and women are equal. I am only one individual. One side is man, other side is, Shiva and Parvati. The paradox is that on the day of Shivaratri, many people believe that it is a very auspicious time to get married. They bring all their girl children. I am talking about child marriages. On the day of Shivaratri, thousands and thousands of child marriages happen in India. These are all some of the things that are pulling us back. Isn't it? Do you agree? Do you agree? Do you agree? So, as a citizen, it is our moral responsibility if we come across a child marriage, we should do our little bit. Calling the police, getting them arrested is a different issue, but we also should do some kind of a counseling. Arrest, child marriages. Opportunities to be given to the girls. We all talk about, in India, somebody read about my biodata. I don't talk so much about, what my job was. But I had to most of the time work in the rural areas. Most of the time I didn't have the fortune of working with most educated and elite people like you. I had to work in the most illiterate, far-flung rural areas. They were not sending the girls to school. And I was telling them that if you don't send your girl to school, your daughter to school, you send only your son to school, your son will not get married to an educated girl. I have to talk to them like that. The chances of your son getting married to an equally educated girls are almost nil. Please send your daughters to school. Then, in our country, are you listening? I am seeing some murmuring there. Okay, listen. It's fun also sometimes. Yeah, another thing is that in many families in our country, still, most educated, urban elite, most informative lot, also the parents want only a boy but not a girl. If you don't give birth to a girl, the chances of your boy getting married are, fill in the blanks. The chances of your boy getting married are, fill in the blanks. Very minimum. Very minimum. The girls are mostly, now in the marriage market, you may get a boy but not the girl. If you have a son, it's very difficult to get a girl. Not that the girls are anyway less in numbers and the qualified girls are least in numbers. So the parents really have to struggle, and I struggled for my son's marriage to get a girl. Please remember that. So the world belongs to men and women equally. We talk many things. In the government, I was given a job to tell women that breastfeeding is very, very important. Breastfeeding up to maybe 10 months, madam? Yes. Yeah, minimum of 10 months. After that, very nutritious for the baby, There has to be supplements and all. Breastfeeding is good for, the baby's health. If you have a healthy baby, we are going to have healthy citizens, healthy nation. Very simple formula. But how many of our institutions have a separate room for a women joint duty to breastfeed, crush facilities, where you keep the babies. Breastfeeding, having a crush facility at the workplace is very, very important. These are all very mandatory as per Government of India guidelines. But implementation is not there, unfortunately. Maybe some good institutions are following, but not many institutions. Our men, that child care is equally the responsibility of not only the mother, but also, father too, but also the responsibility of father too. With a great difficulty, I think Government of India has given paternity leave only up to 15 days. But some of the corporate companies are giving paternity leave at least up to 3 to 4 months, and some proactive companies are giving the maternity leave. If it is 6 months, the paternity leave is also 6 months. That's an indication to tell fathers that child care is equally your responsibility. You understand that? If you are a head, you are a CEO of some company tomorrow, okay? Yours is not a small institution. You are having a bright future. You will be CEOs of some companies. Please remember the word paternity leave. Third pledge. I don't know how many years later, but keep this pledge. Okay? Paternity leave is very important. There is a great woman globally known for initiatives. Her name is Jacinda Ardern. She is the Prime Minister of New Zealand. And she came once to the Parliament breastfeeding her baby. She wanted to tell the world that breastfeeding is not a thing to feel shy. It is the women's right. It is the child's right. It is the responsibility of men equally to ensure such positive things in life. Look at the things in a positive way, because see, in our society, if you are 9 months pregnant, you don't want to move out and show your, show yourself. You feel very shy. It is, it is like a shame. I don't know how many have watched this movie, A Thursday. Did you watch? A Thursday. Okay. Recently the movie is released. Spend some time to watch. It's good. Okay. And in that we have a heroine called Neha Dhupia. Yes, Neha Dhupia. Everybody knows her name. You are all very familiar, with the Bollywood and Hollywood and Tollywood. Neha Dhupia acted in that film. She was 36 months when she was acting in that film. Her pregnancy was real. I thought, unless I read, I didn't know. She was actually having lot of difficulty to act, to sit, because she was a cop, she was a constable, and she had to, detect the heroine of that film. The heroine was when she was going to school, when she was very young. Okay? Very interesting film. And Neha Dhupia acted in that film as 9 months pregnant. So, these are all some of the hardcore issues. Generally, women feel shy, to show themselves with pregnancy, after that childbirth, breastfeeding. These are all, and the we as citizens, we are active to these things. We have to erase certain things which are prevalent in our mind, the way in which the society. Friends in India,